Honor, actually, a couple of quick things. This is the long interview. This is, I think, 4 hours and 40 minutes now. So, and it has been redacted, so I'd ask that the clerk please give the instruction regarding redaction.
Okay.
The second thing is, I presume at some point we'll stop.
We'll definitely take a recess. We're not going straight 4 hours with the interview.
And one last change of the subject a little bit. Will the court entertain a very brief argument regarding the issue of the admissibility of the gun evidence with Mr. Turpin and Mr. Fine?
As to, is it going to come up in this interview?
No.
Yes, I'm not going to do it at this point, as I stated, Mr. Stone. I will do it when we break for lunch.
Okay.
I'll have the jury go for lunch, and we can take a brief time before you guys go to lunch, and each of you will have a few minutes to argue.
Okay, that's good.
And make argument. That's as I stated earlier.
Thank you.
You may be seated. All right, state may call their next witness.
State calls Daniel Anderson, Investigator Daniel Anderson.
Investigator Anderson, come forward, raise your right hand, be ready to be sworn, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the complete truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
May I proceed, Your Honor? Thank you. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, sir.
Please tell us your name, and would you please spell your first name and last name?
Daniel Anderson, D-A-N-I-E-L-A-N-D-E-R-S-O-N.
What do you do for an occupation, please?
I'm a deputy sheriff with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office.
And first, how long have you been with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office?
Since October of 1997.
What are your present duties with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office?
I'm assigned as a major crimes investigator.
And briefly explain to the jury what that encompasses. What types of events, what type of crimes do you investigate?
We investigate all deaths in the unincorporated area of Seminole County, all sexual batteries of adults, aggravated batteries, aggravated assaults, extortions, crimes of violence.
And how long have you been an investigator with the Sheriff's Office?
On and off.
With major crimes?
With major crimes, approximately 4.5 years.
Now, let me direct your attention to January of this year, January 2019, and ask you, did you become involved in the shooting deaths of Margaret Amato, Chad Amato, and Cody Amato at 2112 Sultan Circle in Chuleota here in Seminole County?
Yes, sir, I did.
And are you the lead investigator in that particular case?
I am.
This case?
Yes, sir.
Now, as part of that investigation, did you have an occasion to conduct an interview of a person by the name of Grant Amato?
Yes, sir, I did.
Do you see Grant Amato in the courtroom today? And if you need to stand up and look around, go ahead.
Yes, sir, I do.
And would you please identify him?
Gentleman at the back table, looks like a blue jacket, white shirt, bald head or balding head.
Sitting in the chair that's closest to the wall?
Yes, sir.
And please let the record reflect that Investigator Anderson has identified the defendant. Now, where was that interview conducted?
It was conducted at the Seminole County Sheriff's Office.
When was the interview conducted? When did it approximately start?
Approximately 9:30 a.m. on the morning of the 26th of January,
Which-
2019.
Which anticipated my next question. The date of the interview was January 26, 2019?
Yes, sir, it was.
And during the course of that interview, was there another investigator that participated, that sat in and participated with it?
There was Investigator Eva Multari.
Was that interview recorded?
It was.
Audio and video recorded?
Yes, sir.
Showing the defense counsel 7A for identifications. May I approach Your Honor, please, the witness? Let me show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 7A for identification and ask you to look at it.
Yes, sir.
You recognize that?
I do.
And tell the jury what is 7A for identification.
This is a thumb drive that contains the interview from January 26, 2019 with Grant Amato at the Seminole County Sheriff's Office.
And have you previously watched the contents of that thumb drive?
I have.
And is what is contained on that thumb drive a true, inaccurate recording of various portions of the interview?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'd offer this into evidence as a State's exhibit, Your Honor. Subject to required motion, Judge.
The objection's overruled at this point. What has been pre-marked, and I'm sorry, what was the number again? Mr.
7A.
7A will be moved into evidence as State's Exhibit 176 in evidence.
Now, Investigator Anderson, this is quite a lengthy interview, correct?
It is.
And would it be fair to say that it goes on for hours?
It does.
Now, one other question I want to ask you before we play this. During the course of your, and this is changing subjects a little bit now. During the course of your investigation, did you call or dial the following number? 866-682-6233.
I did.
And what were the results of making that phone call?
That phone call was made to a number that when it picked up, it was basically a conference call meeting number that people could dial into and could have a conference call between multiple people using that dialed-in line.
A conference call type service?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, at this point, I'd like to publish the interview on the flash drive.
All right. Members of the jury, you're about to again view or listen to a video and audio recording. The court instructs you that the recording has been edited to eliminate irrelevant portions that would not add to your understanding of the case. The fact that the recording has been edited should not concern you in any way and must not impact the way you view and listen to and consider the evidence.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. May 20th, 1989. Home address is 2112 Sultan Circle, Julia, Florida. 32766. For the home or for the home? Well, I mean, my original cell phone number was 407-687-0738. Home phone number was 407-971-1422. My cell phone currently doesn't have any service with it, so I mean, it's just. You have, moved to it, I'm just down no longer good. If my dad had told me that when he disconnected my service, that he also changed my phone number, so I don't know what the new phone number is, but, I mean, it's probably, like, you can probably still see it. Do you have a phone, or? If it was in my duffel bag. Gotcha. Email me then, what do you say? My main email is Amato, all word, all lowercase, Amato, like a label, @gmail.com. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from UCF back in 2011. My plan. Okay. What is there any special nursing degree, what you do, or? I mean, I like other certifications, but, I mean, with that, like, I primarily worked in the hospital for, I think, 5 or 6 years, and then I was pursuing a Master's of Science in Nurse Anesthesia. That was back in 2015, I believe. But then I didn't complete that, and I just went back
up just fast forwarding it?
Because, I can't keep just not working forever. That was kind of a topic around the house was, I need to get started here. And then I've been applying for jobs for the last couple weeks. I've gotten like 3 or 4 callbacks. And I went on a job interview yesterday for a home infusion nurse job. Where was that? That was with a Credo. Is that like a staffing or is that like a header kind of job? No, that's like their actual company. It's I don't remember the first name. It's something scripts.
Where's the location?
Out close to the airport on Lee Benson. What hours you in here? It was scheduled for 10. I got there around 9. And then I think we actually had the interview about 9:45. I mean, it was all good. They didn't have anything that says they'd probably be getting back to me by Tuesday or Thursday this coming week. Get back to work? Yeah, because, it's a crappy world when, you don't have money. Sure. How's the nursing what you did? I'm sorry, I saw that. The nursing, how does that? If you work your standard 3 12 hours a week, you get anywhere between, I'd say, $45,000 and $55,000 a year. So it's not bad. Obviously, if you work overtime, like some of the nurses who've also been nurses for a long time, they can make 6 figures if you work 5. What was your best rating this year? I think my best year, I made like 55,000. Because I rarely worked overtime. Right. Because I had a whole plan of going to graduate school, so I was just kind of using it as a stepping stone. Right. Just to pay the bills, right? And what you're going for, what's that? Nursing just pays, pays like 150 up to 175. You work like overtime, you can cut 200%, So what would you actually do? If I could do anything, gotta be the best job that is nursing and right. What would you do? Oh yeah, nursing is the thing. You're in the OR, you put the patient to sleep, keep them alive during surgery, wake them up, send them off to the In Florida, the anesthesiologist, which is the MD equivalent, if you will, they have to come in at the start of surgery, they have to induce the patient, put them to sleep, and then as long as they're comfortable with you, the surgeon's comfortable with you, then the anesthesiologist leaves, and then you take care of the whole entire surgical case. Right. Okay. And then, again, by the time you're a CRNA, you're obviously confident enough to wake the patient up. So when I was a student, though, the anesthesiologist would sometimes come back in for wake-up to make sure everything's okay, and then you take them to the PACU or the post-op area, drop them off, you get the nurse report, and I want you to have it. Okay. High school, where'd you go? I went to Timber Creek High School on Avalon. Okay, you graduated what year? 2007. Okay. And then you go back to UCF and start your summer, yeah. Okay, great. That'll be great. High school and the first 2 years of college, I was ABC. I was in honors in the major program for UCF. And then my final 2 years when I was getting my BSN, I made A's and B's, and then I had one slip up in my final semester where I had to redo a class, and then I ended up graduating in August. That's what year? 2011. Okay. And did you start work right after that? Yeah, I think like a couple months after. And what you work? I first worked on the intermediate critical care unit at ORMC in downtown. Okay. And then went to Rollins at some point? No, I went to the ITC there at that hospital, and then I went to the multi-system ICU at that hospital. And then I applied for the graduate school in December, or I started going in January. it's not as, it's like the stories and whatnot and the way that the shows progress is not as childish as cartoons. So you would think like Powerpuff Girls and SpongeBob SquarePants and all that stuff. It's not like that.
So it's adult-based.
It's adult-based, yeah. Yeah. It's cover, I mean, you can cover like life versus comedy. You can get dramatic, romance, all of it.
Where would one watch that?
You download it on the app, and then you just watch it like on your computer. You can watch it on, you can watch it anywhere down there.
Is it in Japanese or?
It is Japanese, and then they, yeah.
You speak Japanese?
That's what they go.
I understand a few words. We actually just went to, me and my brother and one of my friends, or I guess, friends from high school, we went to Japan from December 1st to December 15th. So we went because, I mean, it was anime that kind of inspired us. Yeah, first time actually. Our friend Jericho. He was originally a friend of my brother's back in high school, and then we all kind of stayed close.
How expensive was that trip?
I mean, got 26 one or like $1,400, and then I'd say it was probably about 10 grand total for like all those days.
For each one again?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was about 2 weeks, so.
How did spend time over there?
We went to Tokyo for the first 4 days, and we stayed there. And then we went to Kyoto for 2 days, and I cannot remember all the names of the specific places. And then it was like 1 day stays at ryokans, which are like guest houses or inns.
That was food.
Food's great. We were too scared to actually go into like the shops, like the side shops, because all in Japanese, they don't know what they're doing, and we don't want to like say it wrong or do whatever, like impose. So we actually survived a lot at night on just like food you get from 7-Eleven, because over there it's called 7-I, but it's like the 7-Eleven symbol, so it's the same exact thing, and it's got way better food than what like the 7-Eleven that we have here. So we would
Go back.
Oh yeah, so it's good with that. Yeah, I think we're actually planning on going back November of this year.
How long have you been out of work?
I've been out of work for 6 months this June.
How did you pay? You spent a lot of money for the out of work.
My brother. Yeah, my brother.
What do you do?
He's in the Army.
What?
Sorry, the certified registered nurse.
Okay,
We were both in the program together.
Okay.
And then he was able to finish, and I did not.
So he's making good money?
Yeah.
Was he making that 150, 100?
He was working a lot. I mean, I don't know if I think he was costing a lot of overtime, not scheduled, but like, it's just kind of what happened. But yeah, he was moving along.
What do you think he made it that year?
God, he showed me, because he was complaining about how, like, his taxes alone were like the annual income of like a nurse. And I think when he showed me before like it all ended, like before his pay year had ended, that he was already up to like 166, but that was like after I think the $60,000 or $40,000 already came out. I can't remember.
That was after.
Yeah, I think so.
So he made more than 160?
That would take on.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
We definitely got a long time.
Stay in nursing.
yeah, definitely.
So he just paid for your trip, since you're both into this?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Jericho, what's he doing?
He's got just a high school diploma, so I think for the majority of the past year, he was working as one of those, what are they called? They're like the people that watch the security cams when you go on like a gap or something like that. He's like one of the loss prevention, that's what he's correct.
How do you pay for all that?
I mean, I guess he just saves.
Probably didn't have to pay for it?
No. He like covered maybe some like daily expenses if there was like a taxi or, right,
How
yeah.
long did you guys plan this prior?
It had been a dream of ours to go for a couple of years, and then we really started planning probably just the year before. Like actually like putting the money aside, all the reservations and whatnot scheduled.
That's a dream trip to go there?
Yeah.
Is this for that anime stuff?
I mean, that's the inspiration. When we went there, though, we just kind of took up all the culture because through the anime, you kind of see little glimpses of what the culture is actually like. So we just want to kind of experience all that.
So we're not. And that is where we're going back on.
Definitely.
Which system did you use?
PlayStation. Oh, PlayStation, then we went to Xbox, because that was like what a couple of our friends had. So we went back to PlayStation, and then me and my brother got into PC gaming, where on that we just play like MOBAs, which are like strategy type games, RPG type games.
So we got to ask this year any games. Did you hack? Yeah, did you brother hack any? Are you guys that playing with not work for a month because of an injury, they would hack and TV and lower me down to the lowest level?
No. We weren't that technologically gifted. But, I mean, we would use like glitches or something like that when we would play on the PC, where you could like have no recoil or, you know, it was like auto aim or something like that. So
yes, man, this is all.
I mean, yeah, so we didn't hack other people's accounts.
I've seen people that have an Xbox game, they'll tell you they'll find somebody that's cheating, and they'll see this big hand coming and grab them. Then they come over here against the section of the game, and the guy just flies against the wall, and they just stand there and they shoot each guy, and he comes right back there.
Oh, gee, I don't know.
Alright, fortunately, I work with you on big problems, and you probably got me before. So you guys play a lot of the PC games then?
Yeah, we started doing PC games primarily. I haven't turned on my PlayStation in months. I think the only other game that really played was Fortnite, but then that was starting to get to like,
Kids all over.
and actually, yeah, during the time that I was working as a nurse, I was trying to do the whole Twitch streaming thing.
What's that?
I'm sorry,
Where you have to explain all this to us?
with Twitch, you got your mic and you have your face cam, and then basically people are just watching you play whatever game you're going to finish playing. And then, you know, they can donate, they can subscribe to you, which then you get like a monthly payment.
Anybody doing that way?
I think I was up to like 30 something subscribers.
Hey, what was you charging them?
With subscriptions, there's 4 tiers of it. Tier 1 is just $5. So right when you get issue of blank subscribe to, you get $5.
Monthly or just total?
Actually, their Twitch pays for 45 days because you're like an independent self-employed or something.
Okay, with their account, so they need to track you. Would be for a 30-day period?
Yeah.
So every 30 days, they would owe you that $5.
If they resubscribe, yeah. So then there was that. Tier 2 was like $10, tier 3 was $15, then somebody tier 4 it was $24, I think.
And what does that get you for?
All the higher tier 2s, they give you like more emotes, like little things you can put in the chat. So when you're playing, everybody who's in your room can chat about, you know, what you're doing or, you know, anything random. And then donations are just, can range from 1 cent up to
However, what were they on Twitch a month?
nothing really significant. It was like,
You said about 30 people at one time?
Yeah.
Back in? So I minimum, what?
$150, and then a few donations, but primarily I just keep myself busy, doing something.
Now, are these adults doing it or kids?
They're in their early 20s. There's thousands and thousands of streamers who do that on Twitch, but there's maybe like 5 that make 6 figures. And then, like, the 2 most prominent ones are Ninja and Attack, and they both play Fortnite. Like Ninja, I think, makes $300,000 a month from just doing it.
$300,000?
Yeah.
And where's he at?
Like, where does he live?
No, U.S. and stuff.
Oh, yeah, he's U.S. I think he lives up by Chicago or something like that. And, but he's only 24.
Yeah, you're
Yeah. That's right. Retro gaming.
So you do that, and so you got a lot of computer knowledge.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, where's the app first?
I'm computer savvy, yeah.
Yeah, computer knowledge, good computer.
I have a gaming PC up in my room, and then there's another gaming PC downstairs that we just built, for the VR specific.
You guys know it?
Yeah. And then, but I mean, it's like my gaming PC, like we buy all the parts and then we would put it together in our own.
What was the budget?
When I built mine, it was about $3,000, and then the gaming one downstairs, I think, was $4,000 or like $4,500.
And then did you cook for the VR stuff?
Yeah.
That was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was cool.
How do you
On virtual is Beat Saber. So it's like a rhythm-based game, like Guitar Hero, like Rocksmith or Rock Band, whatever it's called. And then you just use the virtual reality wand to hit the cues in a certain way, or the song beat's going. And then, apart from that, we really didn't get into too many other games yet, because we were kind of just focused on Beat Saber. But I think we had downloaded a few other where it's just like, you're going through like a world and you can interact with the world or something like that.
What about,
Besides that, a number of years ago, like me and my brother were actually like gun enthusiasts, and we did it wrong, where we did it all during when the season was like high, so everything cost so much money. Yeah, I guess so. Unfortunately, we don't mind or anything like that. But we would go like play shooting. Primarily the place we went to is Quail Creek Plantation.
Where's that?
I got selling the car. I don't remember the.
Yeah, it's local, or is it?
It's like an hour and a half away from here.
You know, county then, or city?
Quail Creek Plantation.
The only place I know is Gun Range, I really know, music units and stuff like that, is Geneva.
That's not in Geneva, right?
Yeah, I think there's one out there.
That might be where it is, but I don't remember the city specifically. But we would be the play shooting, and then we were part of the Volusia County gun shooting. Yeah, whatever it's called. But that was like 2 years ago. The only thing that we really kept up with was play shooting. But even that, I don't think we've done that for like 8 months or something.
What were you guys for that? What would you like?
Me and my brother both got the Finale, like long, Supernova. We both had those, and then during the time where like I was struggling, like in the last 6 months, I sold all my guns.
What did you have?
What did you go? I did. I had about 4 ARs. They were all just where you would buy like the different parts again, kind of with the piece in and put them all together.
Because I'm not going like that. Why so many ARs?
I mean, again, we were just like enthusiasts for wanting to build our own thing, just kind of seeing what we can do.
You buy it already.
We would buy the specific parts and then have them sent to the gun clubs or whatever, so that you could pick them up. And then, then we put them all together.
You guys built them yourself? They have to be a for?
No.
You got 4 ARs? What do you have?
Besides that, I had an M4 shotgun. Tactical shotgun.
What is that for?
That was just our gun that like me and my brother both had one of those. Yeah. And then we had that had always been our dream gun that we just wanted to have a tactical M4. We took it to the range a couple times just to look around.
I've got an M1.
Oh, nice, yeah.
But the M4 is much nicer.
Yeah. And then we got the Supernovas, which we just used for play shooting. And then pistols wise, I had, I think 4 or 5 pistols. I had a Glock 17, I believe it was. I had, it's not the Shield. It's a Smith & Wesson M9 something. I don't remember what it is. And then I had a Taurus, which was I think like 45 caliber. And then I had, again, it's like the dream gun that I always wanted was the FN Tactical 45 with like straight barrel and all that stuff.
GD gun?
Yeah, exactly. No suppressors or anything like that. Because again, during that time, it's like if your stamp loan would take 6 months, and then you gotta wait however long to get that back. So we never got that into it.
Still have them all, or you said you got rid of them?
I sold all mine. Yeah.
Which sold them?
The Florida Gun Exchange.
What?
Florida Gun Exchange. It's down in. They have one in. It's on Ormond Beach. Ormond Beach. That's one.
You took one sold?
Yeah.
Sold all at one time?
No, just kind of because I didn't want to go in with too many.
Right.
And it felt like
They didn't look at you like, who's this guy with all his guns?
Yeah, or they would like cut me a lower deal because I was giving them like a whole bunch.
Where do you get the ARs?
ARs, unfortunately, like wasn't that much. It was only like $3 grand or something
I'm looking for jobs, applying for record.
I think we're right.
Anything left in savings?
Nothing else in savings. I think I had like $300-400.
Brother had helped me for.
Yeah, I mean, brother was helping me, my dad was covering, the rent that he calls it, which is just like the monthly payment for us to help, since we all live in
What was that for that payment?
$600 a month, yeah. And then,
It's not a bad deal, is it?
no, and then, I mean, he was covering my cell phone, we were paying for our own internet,
I remember that game on that, yeah, better than basic internet, didn't you?
yeah, unfortunately, out where we lived, it's like our street, like street coming down, I think, before Christmas, before you turn in, like that's the dividing line. Everything before you turn in before Christmas, all the nice big fancy houses that are on that side, they all have Spectrum and the gigabyte connection, they have everything available to them. But then right when you come down here, where the older neighborhoods are, they haven't branched out everything, so I think it was just AT&T that was providing service, and, I mean, we had the highest one, but it's still, like, I think it was 50 megabytes download, like 10 megabytes upload, so, I mean, it's not that great, but it was
So
good.
basically, all your computer systems were underworked for what their capabilities.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So I'm sure that virtual reality takes up a lot of speed, doesn't it?
yeah.
Let's see. Quarterly record software.
Oh, yeah, me and Cody,
Who's older, you or him?
I'm the youngest one, I'm 29, he's 31, my oldest brother Jason is 35, 36 now.
Who lives at home?
Yeah,
All three boys live at home?
no, just me and Cody and then mom and dad.
Okay. Tell me about Cody.
Cody, let's see, me and Cody had the quintessential was like a 129 weight class, I was a 119 weight class. But he was definitely stronger in high school. And then, but yeah, we were close. I mean, like bonded, you know. I don't really know how else to really say it. A lot of people thought that it was weird because we did everything together and because we were so close. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, one people understand the bond of brothers.
Yeah.
The true bond is close.
and I mean, during like this whole time, I mean, kind of like with just the two examples I've given you, you take care of everything.
One there for you.
Yeah,
One there for you.
always there. And, yeah, I mean, he's always been there for me. So, with my oldest brother Jason, not so much, just because he was adopted to begin with. And then
He was adopted.
my dad, he was my mom's son.
I was married before your dad?
No, just entitled. And then he was heavily restricted when we were younger, for lying and stuff like that for dad. So basically, he would he would go to school and then he'd come home, he'd have to stay in his room. There's like no TV or anything like that, especially not 15 years ago or something like that. But he'd come down to dinner and then he'd go back up and he'd do his work. On the weekends and whatnot, he would like go out and pick weed and like do that stuff and then come in and then do the same thing. So unfortunately, me and Cody never really got to interact with Jason, the oldest brother, a whole lot. But I mean, Jason's been, like, I think he's one of the most genuine people that you'd ever meet.
Cody definitely is your way closer, right?
Yeah, a lot of fans now, yeah.
Go on vacation, touching the bills,
Right, now, yeah,
study together.
we did everything together, connected at the hip.
You never any issues really with that?
No, like I was saying, during this last 6 months, it's been a very trying time. You know, financially, trying to get the job thing going, worrying about. But like even through it all, I mean, he would like have moments where he would get extremely upset. Like, you know, he never gets violent, I guess you could say. But like at one point he got so upset that he like pushed the cabinet and then it like dented into the wall. So he'll like lose his temper, kind of like my dad, but yeah, I mean, at least with me, he's always been like where he's everything, like whatever it takes, regardless of what's happening, I'm gonna take care of it for you. And I mean, over like the last 6 months, I mean, it's been sad for me because like I see everything that like he's doing and like I can't be like how I've always been with him, where you know I'm helping out too, or I can do something for you. You know, where we're kind of on the same playing field. I know to make more money than me and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, you know, we can do the stuff together. You don't have to pay for my dinner. You don't have to go out with the guys. You don't have to pay for the trip, you know. It's just, so, you know, I couldn't help relieve the stress, I guess, as well as I always used to. And
There's also the camaraderie,
Yeah.
Get your brother to do something.
right. But then, I mean, I know for me, I've been bummed out just because, like, I've been out of work. You know, my whole life has been school, back to work, and then just, I mean, that's it. You know, sacrifice all my plans and everyone tailgating or anything like that.
Do you have any issues with depression overall?
I would say that I was depressed, but, you know, I'd always put on a happy face for, like, my brother. And,
How do you depress?
you know, I talk to God. I try and just rationalize in my head that, you know, just because like sleeping was kind of off and on at the time, I would take like Benadryl, just like once you go to sleep back at home, and then when, I think the only other thing is like sleep aid, which again is just diagnosing, you know, secondary side effect is just drowsiness, it's not like the actual purpose. And then melatonin, just to help with the sleep cycle, because I work nights all the time, so I'm always a night owl, always awake, and then now it's like trying to, because we have to be on days. But that's the only thing I ever did, and I have to like protein for like headaches. But no antidepressants, no medical history, none of that type of stuff.
Well, you and Cody said you've been adults. Any physical fitness like that?
When we were super young, but besides that, no.
So living at home with who?
Me, Cody, Dad, Mom.
So that's your mom.
My mom has, she's always been the, kind of like Cody, she's always been the one that focused on me. And, she worked at home. She was, like something manager, like a client manager for Nuance Transcription Company.
What's that about?
Basically, Nuance, their major thing is medical transcription. So it's just all the things the doctors are saying while you're in the hospital. And then,
Well, we make sure that those all got transcribed.
she would manage the people who did all the transcriptions, and she had a couple people where there's like the managers, for those people that then she would also take care of. And I think she was in the stage now where she was kind of branching out to different countries. So she had just gotten like this Canada account, I think, where she had basically the same thing, but now it's just all
Canada.
Oh yeah.
Good paying job, sounds like.
And yeah, she only, I think she told me that she completed high school. But if she didn't, then she didn't have a high school diploma, or she did, honestly, I can't remember. And with that, when she first started doing everything, like with my dad, she was just medical transcription, so she wasn't just making like 35,000 a year or something like that. But now she had worked her way all the way up to making about $90,000 a year. At this job, stressful as hell. You know, I hear complain, do all that stuff.
Where was her office at?
You come down the staircase and then it's right to the right. So it's like, it's got like a potted plants in there, it's got like a bay window. Or like a free window.
She worked at home?
Yeah.
I think she worked at.
She works for Nuance. So it's like where like all of our internet and crap is. It was like long. Yeah. It was like originally a dining room, then it was transitioned into like her office. And
Is that his mom? Or
no, I mean,
were you lady? You just were truly family based?
for my mom.
So that she's okay.
For my mom.
Mom's neighbor.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been being told that, because, again, so the last 6 or 7 months was just like stressful for everybody. And, you know, countless times my dad would like come to me and he'd make like me feel, like he'd try to use things and word things to make me feel guilty so that I would, you know, do everything that I can, like his job.
Sounds like a motivation.
Right. He'd tell me time and time again that, you know, you're her favorite. I mean, she would do anything for you. And, I mean, like, yeah, I don't need to hear that. I mean, that's not what would motivate me.
Sure.
But no, Mom, I think we owned each other a grand total of like 3 or 4 times my whole life. I've never, like, yelled at her for anything. I mean, she's never done anything wrong. She's always been the one who's stood by me, but tried, you know, even during our early childhood when it was really rough with our dad. My dad's the Leo type A, Italian personality man. He's very focused on his future. He's very focused on everything that he's sacrificed in his life for the betterment of all of us. You know, he's always dreamed of going hiking up in the mountains at Rockville in Tennessee that they built. And I've actually made Cody and Jason have never been up to that house. Just because
Mom, Dad, I definitely are secret hideaway.
a little bit.
No kids allowed.
A little bit, but I mean, they
Can't take it.
oh yeah. It's nice. It's like, I think my dad emphasized you still have to
And where's that? Tennessee? Tennessee, and it's, is this up in, it was like they rent around cabin areas where a lot of truly people? No, it's very exclusive. But, God, I think, why am I so terrible at remembering? It is, it's like an hour out from Gatlinburg. But it's very secluded. It's like, you see a house like on the satellite thing, and then it's got like acres and acres and acres of trees, and you might see like another house right over there. And then off like the back end of their property, they would send us pictures where it's got like the guardrail, but it's overlooked like a valley. So, that property actually was causing my dad a lot of stress because I think it's been built for like 5 or 6 years. He only goes up there once every month, once every couple months just to do maintenance, not to like enjoy it. And then every like other month, him and my mom would go up there for like a week. But again, it's like my mom would always just be like, you know, I'm working every day, like we're doing stuff in the yard, we're clearing this, clearing that. They need to enjoy that. Right. And then my dad apparently has like this hog issue up there that has been destroying his lawn and everything they're maintaining. So, you know, he was like stressing about all the money that that's costing him, and yeah, so like, yeah, I guess back to your original statement with my mom. Never any issues. I mean, it was always like, if there was somebody that I could talk to and like Cody wasn't available, I always watch my mom. I'd always let her know what's going on. Yeah, I mean, she would help me out through anything. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, Dad's pharmacist. He works for CVS. He's been a pharmacist for, I think, 35 years or so. Oh, he worked for CVS? Yeah, he worked for the hospital, ORC actually, or I think it was something orange back in the day. But he worked for ORC for about 15 years, and then he worked with home infusion with ambient healthcare for, I think, 11 years or 13 years. And then he finally got into the sales one with CVS. Where he like sits in a cubicle and then he's got the headphone on, and then if somebody calls in, he just like tells them what they have to do, like pharmacy-wise. So retail pharmacy. So he wouldn't go to like the CVS on the side of the road. He was at like Caremark or something like that, which is owned by CVS. It's like 650 employees. He told me about like how the pharmacist doing things. Right. Yeah. Basically talking to other pharmacists? Talking to other pharmacists, talking to doctors, talking to patients. Gotcha. Patients are like their own health care stuff that they have, and they just call into the 24-hour pharmacist, and then, you know, they help them through whatever you need. Like that's not better than me, and that's the other. No, he hated it. Because he was fired from, and then he was, like IV home infusion with Florida hospitals, home infusion group for only about 2 or 3 years. He was fired from that for being, like, to not, like, soft with, like, an asshole, because he was, like, his manager or something was this, like, young woman, and then she was giving him crap, and then he, like, I've been a pharmacist for this many years, like, I'm in your younger, it's like, I'm not going to listen to you, you know. So I guess he blew up one day when he was down at work, and then, because of that, he ended up getting fired, and then he was out of work for about 3 months. And then he was trying to get back into the hospital system, trying to do home infusion again. But because of how old he is, and because he has an RPH degree, which was the original pharmacist degree, he doesn't have to do PharmD. He just wasn't able to get back into the avenue that he wanted to. That's why he was forced basically to go to retail. So, but I mean, he told me every day or every week that, you know, he hates it. He's just trying to get to that retirement earmark so that he can stop. Because when he goes to Tennessee, he doesn't want to get recertified in Tennessee and even work part-time with what his dad does. What is that? His dad's also a pharmacist, but he originally he lives in Florida, and then now he lives in South Carolina. And he just works part-time as a pharmacist, but he got the whole recertification, so he can keep doing that. Right. That's a good money. I think he was telling me that he makes like between $110,000 and $120,000 a year. Not bad. So yeah, it's not bad. What about 30 days? And as long as you're both happy to see
restricted, but we were allowed to do some things. Like, it wasn't like Jason's situation where he was just like, the door locked, you know, you're staying in there type thing.
And who was that, who was keeping, who was the disciplinarian there?
My dad.
And was he the one that thought Jason stayed
Yes.
locked in?
Yeah.
What do you want to think about that?
Mom didn't approve of it, honestly, but back in that time, my dad was very, like, angry, violent type person, overbearing. You know, he would like push my mom, and like one instance, you know, it was things that age where me and Cody were kind of getting old enough to maybe be able to do something if she needed our help. And I remember her and my dad were like in their room, which if you go down the stairs, it's right there to the left. We heard our mom yell that he turned to me, and then me and Cody run down the stairs, and we go into the room, and then we're trying to get our dad off our mom, and then my dad was back, and that's on my nose, it's got a little like bridge right there. But I mean, that's like how it was, like spanking with a 2x4, you know, like baseball practice, it'd be like 4 or 5 hours, and he's hurling the ball as fast as an adult can, and we're like 7th, 8th grade and trying to catch this stuff. Yeah, he's definitely very overbearing, but he would always rationalize that he's just trying to like secure our future.
Violent towards the family?
Violent towards my mom and towards me. Never took Cody and towards Jason, but never Cody.
Why?
I mean,
So he just statement?
yeah. Yeah. And with that, I mean, I could kind of see it, but Cody also never really made any mistakes. He did a few things wrong, he lied a few times. You know, he cost my dad some money a few times, but he was never like a repeat offender, I guess you could say, whereas me and Jason, you know, we had that difficulty where it's like, okay, we got to C or we got to D on something, and I just don't want to tell that about it, sure. But then he would find out, and then, you know.
Did I ever abuse him?
When we were younger, spankings with like a 2x4, and then, you know, he'd use like, I mean, it was like a 2x4 that was fashioned into a paddle called the lightning rod. I mean, what was that? No, he broke it on me.
You saw that? I was probably my dad take out the bars.
Yeah.
Couldn't have it anymore.
But, yeah, he would, yeah, he'd do that, and he'd push you around. Like, he wouldn't punch you. He wouldn't bruise you.
Right.
He never slapped me, but I guess I should say the only place I ever got bruised was on my butt from being smacked.
Did he live with you?
He was a little me when I was younger, but
Yeah, since you got out of work.
No, I mean, not really. He would just make me feel bad that, like, he would make me feel bad that Cody's doing all this stuff, like,
And you're not.
no, I'm not. Like, I'm not encouraging.
You're not as valuable, maybe.
Right.
That's not the word works. You're not, we say contributing enough to what needs to be done.
Right, and then,
So nobody knows what better than you that you want to be on, right? What happened?
yeah, I mean, the problem, I guess, was that I was always like the jokester, the one that could calm everybody down, make everybody smile. If it was a heated situation, I could say a joke or something, and that made everybody kind of move past it. And I was just at the point where it's like, you know, I'm hearing, you know, all the stuff from Dad, I'm seeing how much Cody's helping me, you know, Mom's stressed out with her job, and it's like I'm not doing anything. And it's like I'm in that situation where it's like, I'm not doing something because I don't want to.
I'm going to talk for a while. Do you get stressed right to the bathroom or anything real quick?
I'm not good. That's what I was saying, working on the nerves.
Yeah, you guys didn't understand. Okay, guys, that's why I said it. I want to make sure that you knew we take this break. And sometimes I'm talking about sitting there and just talking. Dave, what you're saying. Normally you got a break there, and this is in the hospital. And
You guys like water and stuff. I'm not a breakfast person, and water. you have to keep it just basic, because if you say anything or you entice anything or do anything like that, it might lead her to say something to like my dad or something like that. Because apparently when I was in Cornerstone, my dad told her, because he had like hacked my computer or something like that, and he found there was except he's more of that like hacking level, like able to do all that stuff. So he had found, like just the stuff that was related to her. And then, he erased my entire computer, he put a password on it, so like, even when I came back up until Thursday, like, I was able to go on my own computer to look at anything I could. Right, and frankly, so, I mean, spending that on, I was an acting child, which I can kind of get it. But, so anyways, on Thursday, he had apparently found out that I was speaking to her again. And when I came back on the 4th, my mom picked me up from the Cornerstone place. And then me and my mom met my dad at California Pizza Grill and Kitchen in Black Lake. And he had this list front and back on a piece of paper of all the rules. This is what's going to happen. This is why I'm acting the way that I'm going to act. I'm not going to be dad anymore. I'm going to be Chad. And I basically told him that I'm going to be present. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to start trying to get jobs now. I told him what my plan was. It wasn't really my intention to continue talking to this woman, but it just kind of happened. And then because there was like that emotional connection, I guess you'd say, between her and me, so like a relationship, I didn't want to stop cold turkey on it. So he had apparently found out, and then right, and one of the stipulations was that he told at the dinner was, if you speak to this woman again, you're at the house. I'm taking you out. You can pack up your shit, and then you're off my property. And then, because of the way that he used to be, he told me that basically if that happens, that if I ever step back onto his property, that he would kill me. So, on Thursday, that all happened, and then I was in the process of getting all my stuff together. I was piecemealing it out to the car, and then, I interviewed on Friday. So I took off my car. I was trying to just get all of my necessities as best I could from, a lifetime of living inside that. And then, my brother was working that night, and I think he was working like one of the long nights, but he ended up getting off early. And then I had met with my brother before he came home, just like in the neighborhood area. And then it was just on the back side of the house, like along, I don't remember what that road's called, but it's like you take the bend where it has those two blinking lights, and then it's just down that road a ways.
Not for Christmas.
Is it before Christmas when you still turn the corner?
I think so.
I'm not sure. Well, it was just down that road. And then I basically brought him up to speed, and he had told me that he was going to do whatever.
What time is that?
God, what time was that?
What time good? Listen back and say, I apologize. You, mom, and dad go to California Pizza Kitchen in Waterford what time?
Oh, that was all the way back on January 4th.
Oh, you said Thursday? That was Thursday.
No, that was when I had come back from Cornerstone. He was giving me the rules.
Okay. So, Thursday then. That Thursday, did you meet with Cody on the street? This past Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that. After you and your dad argued?
After me and my dad argued, he had told me, this is how it's going to be, and, all that stuff.
Okay. This is at the house this past Thursday?
Yeah. Okay. This is what happened Saturday. So, past Thursday, I guess you could say. So, then, I spoke to Cody. He told me about all that. He had given me his debit to that because I don't have any money and I don't know where to go. I've never been out of the house on my own. And then the last thing that I was told was just that, basically once again, then go take care of it because this could.
What time is this?
I'd say a little And then, yeah, so then after that, I just like stayed in that area, in the vicinity area for a number of hours. And then I remembered over some of the nights when I would work overnight and then I'd be able to come, like, get off early, that Publix on 50, on Colonial, the one that's by the tracks in front. Yeah. So that Publix is like their guest Wi-Fi is always still active even when the store closes down. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go there because I have my service. And I can, check on my email. I had to pull up the address to my interview because I don't have GPS. So then I was like, write all that stuff down. And then I was basically just waiting in that parking lot until I had to leave to go to the interview. And then, that was the last thing again, like, no cell phone service. Email was literally like my only form of communication. And then, I didn't have any, I went to the DoubleTree, so I was like, I can't just stay in my car now, right?
How did you think of that?
I paid for it with my debit card. Yeah, because I think there was like $400 or $300 something still on it.
Okay. How did you get that?
The DoubleTree, I think I got there around 3 or 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Right. And then I was just, I would like go up to my car, like, get a bottle of water or something like that, or if I forgot something, just like necessity wise. And then I was just there the whole night.
Talk to me, talk about something.
No, I couldn't talk to anybody because I didn't have,
But you had the phone in the room.
I did have the phone in the room. But, no, I didn't even honestly think about it because I was like, away from the place where I lived for 25 years. So I had never, it's embarrassing as it is, I've never been on my own.
Right.
The longest period I've ever been away from anybody is 2 weeks when we were up in Japan. So, yeah.
But you wrote with yourself.
Right, yeah.
So you got the insurance.
But, so, I guess I was waiting to see what would happen with this job, so I was told I need to be told Tuesday or Thursday. And then maybe I would try and outreach or something like that. For the last time, when it was like an issue where I didn't have my phone, like my brother would email me. So I was just thinking, if I need anything, he knows the situation, he'll just email me. So I checked my email a few times last night and I inevitably was able to go to sleep.
Was it Thursday night that your dad told you that if you talked to the girl that he would take you out, or was that the conversation on the floor at California?
That was on the 4th. And then he just went through with it on Thursday. So Thursday,
You're home all day.
yes.
With your mom. And she works at home.
Correct, yeah.
You guys work, what's his normal work hours?
He worked until, I think he had to go in early that day. He had to start like doing overtime or something like that. And he normally works over like 5 or 6 in the morning to, I think he gets home between like 5:30 and 6 at night or something like that.
What time did you get home that night?
He got home at like 5:30. 5:30, 5:45, one of those two.
Okay. Were you there when he came?
Yeah.
Okay. Describe your dad and all come in.
My dad normally comes in, he'll look into the living room, which is, like, there's the kitchen, and then there's the living room where it's got, like, a long couch and whatnot that's inside, and then there's the TV right there.
Okay.
So he'll normally come in through there, and then he'll talk or he'll ask questions or he'll...
Where were you at when you came in?
I was just in there, I was just watching,
In the virtual reality, was it where you said, yeah, that's
right, I was just watching
And that's in what room?
the living room. Yeah, I was just watching YouTube at that time, so like...
Yeah, healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where, because he had, I don't know how he found out, but he had apparently found out, and then that I was talking to the woman, yeah. And then he came in and he asked me, in a calmer state, I guess you'd say, like, just like how dad can be. And then, yeah, I mean, you know, then that's just pretty much where I was just kind of like waiting.
So you were outside. Did anybody call Cody tell what's going on?
No, I mean, not that I know of.
Okay. And how do you know he Cody down the street?
It's because my mom had actually come and told me that, you know, she was trying to bridge the gap. And then before I actually physically left, I had told my mom that, you know, I'm going to be close, I'm going to be local, I'm just going to be like down the street. And then, and then,
How do you think it lasted out?
oh, God.
If it's 6:30, the argument started, how long do you think before you left?
I'd say like 9:30 or something. And then, yeah, so then, I mean, yeah, cause I think because, like Cody called the house, and then my mom picked up, and then he was just letting, like, how we normally do, where like, I got off early, he's supposed to work till like 11 or something like that.
Did he came over?
And then, yeah, because they were
Come over because of the fire? You think?
I don't know, honestly, but, he was, I mean, like that week, even on the days that he was working till 3, he would come home at like, or 1 or something that week, so maybe it was just a slow week. But apparently that had happened, and then my mom was able to
Tell him what's going on.
right, and then she told me,
Did Cody have a gun and yes, he did. He already has like he did.
right, yeah.
Did he keep his gun at all?
I think Cody had his, he had his carry, his pistol, and then he,
What was he going here?
it was like a Smith & Wesson M9 shield or armor or core something.
Okay.
And then the only other gun that he had was his clay shooting shotgun.
Okay. Did your dad carry guns?
My dad, my knowledge, he had like 2 SKSs or something like that, and then he had like a Glock something.
Did he carry properly normal?
Normally, no.
No. Okay. What else happened?
What else happened? Then after I met with Cody, then that's where, you know, I was again just kind of staying around that area. And then I just went to the public. And then to my knowledge, I mean, I was like, that was the last interaction that I had with the 3 members of my family was that.
Was it all the time? Last time you saw your mom was what time? Approximately.
Last time I saw my mom, I'm just trying to think. Last time I saw my mom was, God, when did I say that I'm not good? Or when am I not good? We took that time. Stop on. It was like 45 minutes before that.
Okay, so
So when Cody called the house, you said your mom told him about the argument.
Right.
When you left, you said you told your mom you were going to be in the area.
Right.
How then does Cody now know where to meet you, or
It-
who's going to meet you?
Yeah, because that's when my mom had come out to where I said that I was going to be on that road somewhere. And then she was able to do that. And then I guess that's how she knew, like, where, I don't know if she talked to Cody again or she was able to do that. But then she was able to, like, pinpoint that area.
okay, so this would have been late at night?
Right.
8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
So dinner was over. You guys went to get dinner.
We hadn't had dinner because of the whole argument that was happening. So yeah, I don't think, yeah, the chicken never got past just being in the wrappers over where she was crossing.
So you leave, going away, Cody goes home,
Right.
and you have no contact with him since then.
Right.
So I make sure that we're not missing any important people. So, right? You're real famous. This is a good time right now to take
I'm good.
Well, back to regular?
No, I'm good. Just water.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, members of the jury, at this time, there's still more on this interview, but it's around 12 o'clock, so we're going to take our lunch break. And we will come back at 1:20. All right, and start back up around 1:20. So you are excused for lunch, and again, remember, don't talk about the case. You may be seated. Investigator Anderson, you are also excused for lunch, sir. Again, we're going to start back up at 1:20. Because you're on the stand, you can't talk to anybody. State, defense, otherwise. You can't talk to anybody because you're in the middle of your testimony.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? Thank you, sir. All right. Now, at this point, I can hear a brief argument from each side as to the proffered evidence from this morning. State.
Yes, Your Honor. I think the important thing is that the threshold for admissibility has been met, and that's a relatively low threshold. The gun went missing during the time that the defendant went into Blake Turpin's room, which was a week or two before the actual crime. Blake Turpin did not discover it until June 11th, or June, I think June 11th is the date that he actually reported it to the police. But his testimony was that no one had access to that room. He's a relatively private person. He doesn't have many visitors over. That it was the defendant who had access to that room, and since that time, no one else would have gone into his room, nor his brother. He doesn't have company over very much. It's important also to note that the gun that went missing had the same type of rifling marks as the bullets that were recovered from the scene. That gun, Blake's gun that went missing, Mr. Turpin's gun that went missing, was a 9mm that had polygonal barrel markings. It was unmodified. That was a testimony of Jericho Fine, testimony of Mr. Turpin. And the bullets that were recovered from the scene were 9mm projectiles that had polygonal markings on it. The connection has been drawn, at least sufficiently for the admissibility of it. It's obviously up to the jury at that point to decide what weight they want to give to it. And I want to emphasize the cases that I submitted to the court, especially the Gartner case, which was previously cited. A sufficient, and I'm reading from the head note, a sufficient nexus between the crime and the weapon that is sought to be introduced at trial as necessary for the weapon to be admissible evidence does not require testimony that the proffered weapon is definitely the weapon that was used during the crime. If it is inconclusive that the proper weapon is the weapon used during the crime, but a sufficient nexus exists between the crime and the weapon that is sought to be introduced at trial, and obviously in this case there's no physical weapon that we can introduce. It's the photograph of the weapon. It is the jury's province to determine credibility and weight of that evidence, and I think based upon the testimony, a prima facie showing has been made of that nexus, of that connection, and then it's for the jury to decide what weight to give to it. And of course, defense counsel can certainly argue and try to, sever that nexus, but at least the threshold has been passed, Your Honor.
Defense?
Judge, based on the information we have, this is the defense argument. The report has the gun being used last by him back in June of 2018. The report is from June 2019. That's a year that goes by in which it's unaccounted for, according to Mr. Turpin and the report that was filed in the case. Additionally, Judge, so that makes the connection to this gun that was stolen, that it's a 9mm Grant, this issue with Grant being in the room that was never brought up in the police report nor in Mr. Turpin's statement that he gave to police, at least the one in writing. And additionally, Judge, at this time, if it does come into evidence, this issue of polygonal rifling that Mr. Leo had even mentioned earlier, and that the FTLE expert, the FTLE analyst is going to testify to in the future, that we actually did not know that the FTLE analyst was going to make any commentary about any guns other than the ones that are currently in evidence or that were referenced in evidence prior to today. We didn't know that there was going to be any commentary from the analyst. We would actually file, and although I know there was commentary about the timeliness of Daubert challenges, but we didn't expect this evidence until just today. We would file a Daubert motion against the FTLE analyst based on that information, Judge. I'm just letting you know where we're going with it.
Daubert challenge is about issue of scientific reliability.
Right.
So rifling, that aspect, that's not an issue for the polygonal rifling is not something in regards to scientific reliability. If you're asking for a Richardson hearing because of late disclosure.
Well, linking the bullet and the analysis of the bullet is actually scientific evidence, and the analyst is going to, according to maybe I misunderstood what Mr. Leo was saying earlier, but my understanding was that the analyst is going to testify that the bullets that were fired had certain rifling that did not match, or that did match, that did actually link up with the gun that was stolen in the case, and that evidence would be placed when my understanding of what he's going to testify to.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but my understanding was the fact that there was the polygonal rifling in the bullets, and that same gun that was used has polygonal rifling as well.
That's correct. The expert will not say that those bullets came from that gun specifically.
Sure, but there's an analysis of the rifling on a damaged bullet, and then they're using their expertise about saying that the rifling is there in the analysis that occurred. And we would say that requires an expert, and that's part of the analysis of matching or eliminating pistols as the fired weapons. And that's the issue.
You're saying polygonal rifling has not been scientifically found reliable in the courts?
I'm saying that the analyst is going to look at the bullets and analyze what rifling or markings, and this is the issue about tool markings, that's what the expertise is in, according to the analyst, that the tool marks on the bullets does not match the type of rifling that would normally be in this pistol, and that's part of the analysis for tool mark analysis. So that's actually a really essential portion of the analysis that they make. So it's not just some layperson saying it, it's someone who the state is going to put forth as an expert to link the two. And it's not just layperson testimony either.
I guess I'm trying to figure out the scientific, where you're saying that courts don't accept that type of testimony as being scientifically reliable, that it would be subject to a Daubert challenge.
Well, it's not to say that courts don't. It's that we would argue that the tool mark analysis is not scientific and it's not provably reliable and reproducible based on a report that I had actually sent to the state last week. It was a report to the president back in 2016. We would make the argument that I presented that to them as something that I would bring up, but I didn't know that it had to do with I didn't know that the analysis that was going to come out was going to have to do with a pistol that was missing that we never even really had evidence of until just today, because I know that the pistol picture we got, but we didn't have Blake Turpin's testimony, and even when we did the deposition, which I didn't even do, but Mr. Leichel did, we actually were given this information after the deposition of Blake Turpin.
And Your Honor, with regard to that, when I sent an email over to them, I specifically said...
1 second, Mr. Stone. Okay. 1 second, Mr.
Yes, Your
Stone.
Honor.
I didn't ask for a response. All right. The information that you're saying you received regarding the markings or the rifling, when did you receive the testimony in the markings?
Markings, which...
Yes. What information did you receive after the deposition?
Well, first of all, we received the police report about the gun that was stolen after the deposition. And now, Mr. Stone did give us the opportunity to redepose Mr. Turpin. However, I didn't know the relevance of this testimony or this information until today. We were given a stolen weapon, but we weren't told that it had to do with polygonal rifling. That was going to be the state's argument in the case, and we were only given that after the fact, and I didn't connect the two because I'm not a mind reader. I mean, that's where I'm coming from.
All right. Now, Mr. Stone.
Well, that's the point I was going to make. When I sent that report over to them, I specifically said they're more than welcome to either informally speak with Blake Turpin or redepose him. And as far as, not knowing that it's polygonal marking, it's not my obligation to disclose that to them. They haven't waived speedy trial. They haven't taken any depositions. If they took depositions, maybe this would come to light, but it's not my responsibility to make their case for them.
I'm not saying that's explaining the weakness of our Culver challenge. That's all I'm describing, Judge.
All right.
I'm not saying the state did anything wrong here.
All right. At this point, then, the court will review the case law, and I'll make a ruling after lunch. See you guys in an hour.